This is a quick, sharp review of the Sandman Deluxe Editions. I've got all 5 deluxe editions of the Sandman original series, and then also the Sandman Overture Deluxe Edition. I thought this would be a good time to go over these because the Sandman Netflix TV show is about to come out, and I'm quite excited for that. So I'll just be going through the structure of the books, what's inside them, then I'm going to be talking a bit about the books, and then lastly some music that I would recommend listening to if you're going to read these. So the Sandman was released, it started in the 90s or so, and it's 75 issues, which are all included in these 5, as well as a number of auxiliary materials and extra stories that are all sort of make up the canon Sandman storyline, and that's all included in these. And then sometime after that, fairly recently, I can't remember the exact year, but Sandman Overture was released. The Sandman Overture was released, and then this deluxe edition was made of it, and then these deluxe editions were released afterwards. So they're not quite the same format, but they're all the same size. So I sort of treat them as the same, and they're all called deluxe editions. So anyway, so we'll just have a look through them. Basically, these deluxe editions have this original artwork, which I quite like. I think some people are a bit don't really like it because the artist hasn't actually worked on Sandman previously. It's all original for these editions. But I think they're really cool that they have like a collage of characters and things seen in each volume or throughout the series, and they've got this sort of swirling dreamlike pattern, which obviously is sort of important in the grand scheme of when we're talking about dreams, and that's what Sandman is all about. In terms of the size, they're big books, just slightly taller than a Berserk Deluxe. Obviously not as thick, but they're decently sized books. Hence, the Deluxe Edition name. They've got a slip cover, and people, including myself, are annoyed about this Audible little sticker saying that there's an audio drama of the series. It's on every one of these 5 books, and you can't take it off. It's just on there. It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people, but if that's a deal breaker for you, then maybe think about getting another copy of this. The slip case comes off, and it's just the same design on the front and on the side and on the back, but without any of the writing. You've got the spine writing. So, I mean, if it really bothered you, that little Audible sticker, you could just take this off. The paper quality is quite good. It's glossy Western comic book type paper, full color, which is really nice. It makes a lot of the beautiful artwork pop, and there are a lot of different artists who contributed to this series throughout the years, which you'll see in a bit. You see how the art style is already changing quite a bit, but some amazing colours. I love the use of colour in Sandman and how it can just change the whole vibe of the story that's being told. And we've got in between the stories, I'll see if I can find one, these amazing covers, these original amazing covers that were done by Dave McKean, who's an absolute legend. Often does a mix of sort of portrait and painting and photograph. They're amazing. As you can see, this has the extra story Sandman Midnight Theatre. So you get a few of these extras within the series. But the one thing that sort of bothers me about these editions is that you don't get a lot of afterwords and a lot of commentary from Neil Gaiman or other people who would do little afterwards or write anything before you start reading it. And I think those, I don't know, I love seeing that stuff and hearing a bit more about the process. So that's a bit disappointing that those aren't available in these editions. Here is the Deluxe Edition Book 2. So each of these has about 2 or so volumes of the original Sandman series. So they go into around 400 or so pages. This one, you can see here like the stuff that it contains. 17 to 31 of the original run of Sandman. So it's got some Sandman specials in there as well. So basically, if you get these 5 plus the overture, that's sort of the core Sandman series, which is a great series. I read it once when I was younger, when I was a teenager, and really enjoyed it. And I've just done my second read through recently. If you've ever read Neil Gaiman's work, it's really unique the way he writes. He writes well. I don't know if it's everyone's style, but I enjoy it. He incorporates a lot of elements from mythology and folklore, and I think there's something to be said about doing that in your series, because you get to resonate all these old stories that have been passed down for ages and ages, and there's something quite primal and instinctive about that, and the way that you can relate to that. So I like his method of doing that, and sometimes he probably can be a little bit verbose in some of his writing. Some of it's a bit hard to understand, and sometimes it's a bit difficult to understand what's happening in the series, which is why I would recommend reading Sandman with reading each volume, and then there's some really good discussion blogs. I'll post a couple of links of ones that I've been reading, sort of write-ups on some of the symbolism and analysis of Sandman, and I don't know, I think it contributes a bit to the reading experience. This is the Sandman Overture Deluxe Edition. I haven't actually had a chance to read this yet, and I didn't have a chance to read it when it was first released. So this one's a little bit different. So when you undo the dust jacket, not slipcase, then it's got a different appearance here, different artwork. The artwork in this book, I had a quick flick through, but the artwork in this book is incredible. Looks amazing. And the paper quality is actually a bit better in these ones. It's thicker and there's less bleed through. In some of these, you do, particularly, obviously in the white pages, you get a bit of bleed through. Hard to see if you can sort of see that because it's bright today, but a bit of bleed through here. No big deal, but the Sandman Overture Deluxe Edition is a bit nicer in terms of paper quality. So Sandman, the book itself, it follows the story or saga, you'd say, of Morpheus, the King of Dreams, also known as Dream, also known as what other names of in different cultures. He's an entity who is the Lord of all dreams and of stories and creativity. And the story starts with him imprisoned for many years in the human world, until he's finally freed and he has to come and restore his kingdom. And it basically just chronicles his time after that and the changes that go through him when he's figuring out, I guess, what he wants to be and who he wants to be. Which is an interesting sort of idea for a supernatural immortal being to go through this sort of thought process. The whole story of Sandman feels like it's really thought out. Like Neil Gaiman had this idea about how it would start and how it would end, and everything sort of serves a purpose to get to that point. There are a lot of short stories and interludes in between that, and some of them hit harder than others. That there are certain lines and panels in the series that are super memorable, and there's other ones that don't always land as well as each other, but that is always the case with a short story compilation. But I would really recommend reading Sandman if you haven't, and particularly if you enjoyed the Netflix series. I hope it's going to be good, because I think this is a great series that has a lot of potential. Then consider picking it up. In terms of what to listen to when reading it, I listened to this playlist I found on Spotify called Mood Mysterious. It just sort of has sort of low key, sort of sort of music, which I think fits the vibe. It's hard because this series goes through sort of talking about folklore and myths and stories, and then changes to a visit to hell, and it changes to exploring in the real world, and then moments of comedy and tragedy and horror. So it's hard to find a soundtrack that fits all of those, but I think Mood Mysterious does a good job. I'll try to put a link in if YouTube will let me put links in. Have you read Sandman? Are you planning on reading Sandman? Are you planning on watching the Netflix series? If you have any thoughts at all, about Neil Gaiman's writing and the way that Sandman was done, I'd love to hear about it. If you want to see more of these videos, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And look, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks, bye.